Hi everybody, welcome to lesson 2 of our reading comprehension unit. Today we are going to be looking at chapter 2, Peace Day, of our text, Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes. Chapter 2, Peace Day. When the family started out, the air was already warm and dust hung over the busy streets. Sadako ran ahead to the house of her best friend, Chizuko. The two had been friends since kindergarten. Sadako was sure that they would always be as close as two pine needles on the same twig. Sadako waved and walked towards her. Sadako sighed. Sometimes she wished that her friend would move a little bit faster. "Don't be such a turtle," she shouted. "Let's hurry so we won't miss anything." "Sadako-chan, go slowly in this heat," her mother called after her, but it was too late. The girls were already racing up the street. Mrs. Sasaki frowned. "Sadako is always in such a hurry to be the first that she never stops to listen," she said. Mr. Sasaki laughed and said, "Well, did you ever see her walk when she could run, hop, or jump?" There was pride in his voice, because Sadako was such a fast, strong runner. At the entrance to the Peace Park, people filed through the memorial in silence. On the walls were photographs of the dead and dying in a ruined city. The atom bomb, the thunderbolt, had turned Hiroshima into a desert. Sadako didn't want to look at the frightening pictures. She held tight to Chizuko's hand and walked quickly through the building. "I remember the thunderbolt," Sadako whispered to her friend. "There was the flash of a million suns. Then the heat prickled my eyes like needles." Oh, there we go. The doves looked like spirits of the dead flying into the freedom of the sky. So lots of similes going on in this chapter. Now, before we look at the comprehension questions, there's a few things that are mentioned in the story that I'd like to show you in pictures. So I actually went to Hiroshima back in 2019. And when Sadako mentions the atomic dome, it's actually this building here. So it's a very famous, iconic building in Hiroshima that lots of tourists go and visit. And it's what's called at the point of ground zero. So the atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and was actually detonated before it hit the ground. And it was detonated right above this atomic dome. But because it was made of such strong metal, you can see that it's still standing. So it obviously blew the top of the dome, but everything around it for kilometers was leveled and set on fire. Yep. This is the Ota River that they refer to. So it runs alongside this building here. And very close by, you can go to the Peace Park. Now you can actually see the atomic dome just sort of all the way down the end. And at the other end, which I haven't actually got a photo of, is the memorial, which is like a museum that Sadako and Chizuko go and visit. And you can see here that Hiroshima is down towards the southern end of Japan, while Tokyo, the capital, is here. Okay, here are your comprehension questions for today. What does the author mean by "as close as two pine needles on the same twig"? So it's, again, another simile. Surprise, surprise. Question 2. What tells you that the thunderbolt or the atom bomb was a tragic, horrible event? Now you can look back to chapter 1 as well for this. So you might want to go back to that lesson, or you might recall some of the things that were spoken about in that lesson. And chapter 3, why did the Buddhist monks, question 3, why did the Buddhist monks release the white doves? What do doves symbolize? 4, what does the family do with the candles? Why did they do this? 5, the candles float out to sea like a swarm of fireflies against the dark water. How does this description contribute to the meaning of this part of the story? So we've got a simile again here. And number 6, how would you describe the character of Sadako? What kind of personality does she have? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. Now, one thing I didn't mention in the first lesson was please answer using complete sentences, so no single word responses or sentence fragments, at least a complete sentence that has a subject, verb, and an object, or a subject and a verb. This question I put use evidence from the text to support your answer. So that's going back to the text, finding things that are mentioned in the text and using them in your answer here. So the character Sadako, it's not explicitly described by the narrator, but the characters around her sometimes make statements about her or the way that she acts. They might tell you some things about what kind of personality she has. And as always, don't forget to fill in your Super 6 template. All right, I hope you enjoyed chapter 2, and I'll see you next week for chapter 3.